Howdy there, ladies and gentlemen, this is White Lightning. Welcome back to Space Engineers. It's great to be with you today, and if you enjoy the video, please let me know in the comments, or if you have any feedback or suggestions, happy to take those as well. As you can see behind me, I've given the ship a new paint job and also a new name. Best name I got in the comments from the last video was the Vulture. Somebody suggested, and I'm sorry, I was going to write down your name, but whoever you were, thank you. Yeah, I read your comment and really appreciated it. Didn't write down your name, so I can't announce you on air. Maybe I'll do that next episode when I remember to do that. But mentioned that, you know, the nose and the neck and the head is kind of like hunched down like a vulture is. And I thought, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And so I went ahead and, in keeping with that theme, I've painted the bulk of the ship this camouflage digicam dark gray, which I think looks really sharp and I think it's really cool. I'm really glad they added this skin to the game. And then the wings are black, which is a nice vulture color scheme. And then, Vulture's heads are kind of red and pink, like the species I'm imagining and have seen before. They have like the red heads. And so I've given just a dash of red, which kind of ruins our camouflage effect, right? But I think it looks pretty good and I'm pretty happy with it. So that is that. Missions for today, mostly just mission for today is, here's our little man with the programmable block showing us our inventory. And looks like we've got a fair amount of most things, which is great. By the way, last episode, the little outpost that I took out with like one shot from these Mark I batteries was super awesome, right? But that turns out that big gun that I was trying to grind down but couldn't grind down, there's a reason for that. It's because it was a magnetic coil cannon, which is like the biggest, hugest gun that I have modded in right now. 1,500 steel plates, 2,000 superconductors. I've hauled most of those back here in the Vulture. Most of those superconductors, that is, because I have limited cargo space. But today, speaking of limited cargo space, today I'm going to repair and get actually up and running this cargo pod. I moved it, and in doing so, kind of damaged it, and so I want to fix that today. First off, I'm just going to need some steel plates, which I'll come in here. By the way, I noticed a little bit of stutter in the last video. I have tried to eliminate that. I've changed some settings. And yeah, just give me the steel plate, please. I've changed some settings and graphic settings and recording settings and things like that. So hopefully things aren't too stuttery for y'all on your end. Just give me like 10 interior plates. That'll be fine. And then the rest can be construction components. That'll be great. It's buttery smooth on my end, the game is, but there must be something with the recording and stuff. So I tried to fix it. Hopefully everything looks okay for you guys on your end. If not, let me know. But yeah, so what I'm going to need is a large cargo container, and like I say, mine got busted up a little bit. And I'm thinking actually of moving just to have one connector kind of here in the center. I think that makes the most sense. So let's go ahead and place this cargo container first, actually, and then I'll figure out where I'm going to place things. So those are my small cargo containers, which I'm not wanting to have pop up. Okay. Something just like that. And why am I unable to place you? That doesn't sound right. There we go. That should work grand. Okay, so that's done. Let's go ahead and paint this connector pink. And like I say, I'm just going to have the center cargo container be hooked up. That's not what I wanted to do. Don't withdraw. Easy inventory is great, except for when it's not. Read my mind. Tell what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, just one connector here that we can land on and connect. Will also be, because of the way I've designed the Vulture, which I'm a little bit proud of having been able to pull this off, actually. Everything on the Vulture is connected up with the large conveyor frames. So this connector doesn't even have to necessarily connect to the ground. As long as this connector is connected to the rear connector on the Vulture, every large item and everything will be able to make it through these conveyor ports. I'd still like it for when I'm not connected to the Vulture with these cargo pods, though. Vulture, it just sounds right. It just, I think, works for us. We're going to go ahead and paint this all a dark gray. Now, what do we do in this area here? That is the question, isn't it? I could fill in a couple build and repair systems, which I don't actually have build and repair system on this cargo pod. That was an oversight. Yeah, let's throw a couple in there. And then maybe cover it with armor plating. I'm going to need some landing gear as well. Although I'm thinking for landing gear, I can probably just use the the extendable landing gear like I have on the Vulture currently. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of these plates as well. Or these blocks. There we go. Something like that will work great. And then grab you. Oh, although, you know what? Maybe it doesn't make the most sense for the extendable landing gear because they're handy for ships and stuff like that. They are a little bit of a pain for when you're trying to... oops, that's not what I wanted to paint pink, but that's okay. They are just a wee scoochy bit of a pain when you're trying to... oh gosh, what am I trying to say here? When you're trying to extend them and lock them and things like that, because you have to like lock and then turn them off, and if you try to unlock them while they're turned off, it doesn't work, and you know, complicated things like that. So I'm thinking it might be best if we just use the standard vanilla landing gear. That would also make it easy if anybody wants to load up. Also, you should be not that color, or you should be not that. You should be. I want parachute hatches there, actually. Just in case I ever have to drop this thing. And the batteries, I want kind of similar to what I have, just a couple of small batteries. Where to put those? Just on top? Is that the best place for them? Probably so. I'm going to get rid of those because those are not quite in the right spot for what I want. Let's grab our battery here. Do have air vents on the Vulture, by the way, for... there's one, there's two, for sucking the air out of, you know, the atmosphere and pressurizing, filling our oxygen tanks. So that'll be great. That ship really does work pretty well. Oh, and I didn't even talk about how I redesigned this back end here. This back end, as you can see, is bigger and a little more square with the engine nacelle area, which I like just fine. And the reason I've done that is because I was still not super thrilled with how things were handling, with how the ship was handling, and so I added this extra pair of large braking thrusters, which should work really well. Previously, we only had these 4 up front, basically, as our braking thrusters, and now we have a lot more. More power for braking should make me more maneuverable. A little bit more forward thrust for the ion thrust as well. Not too much more, and I would rather have more braking thrust than forward thrust in this occasion. So, and then I again have those atmospheric engines, and then I expanded because I didn't like the kind of little dinky tail fins and wings that I had, so I expanded these so these are now proper wings. Should give me even more lift when I'm in atmosphere. So that should work pretty well. I know that's a little bit of a break from what I was doing just now. Let's see. Yeah, I was going to grab a parachute hatch, but that can wait until I actually figure out what I'm going to do with this landing gear, with this landing gear situation. A couple of gear on the side would probably make the most sense. Something like, oh, come on. Yeah. One thing I definitely need to mention, you guys, is I had the opportunity to go on... Oh, and that'll actually stick right there. That's nice. I had the opportunity to go on the radio yesterday, which was super cool. I didn't know you could stick landing gear like that. That's really cool. That works really well. My orchestra, we're putting on a concert, Wild West themed concert, which should be a lot of fun. And we're putting that on... let's see. That annoys me that landing gear technically isn't connected to anything except for the connector. But I guess it'll be okay. Yeah, a Wild West themed concert, which will be really fun. Some Copeland music, some music from some Western movies, things like that. And I had the opportunity, the classical radio station that plays classical music here in the metro area where we live, sometimes lets groups do like concert previews where they get on and talk about their concert, and they happen to be located on the campus where I'm doing my graduate degree, and so so we emailed over to them and we were like, hey, can we like come talk to you about this concert we're putting on? They were like, sure, we'd love to have you, and it was awesome, and we talked for like 15 minutes about this concert and played some music from it and stuff. But my point of this story is not that I did a good job and did a cool thing, although I did do a pretty good job, I think. No, my point is that, let's see, we want the window 1x2 slope. Yeah, that'll work. I don't have a girder, but that's what we'll use. Was that the host, the radio host, told me wow, you did a really good job. You're like born for radio. And what I didn't tell her, maybe I should have told her, but what I didn't tell her was, yeah, I've actually practiced a lot, like talking in that kind of a setting because I have a YouTube channel. So thank you to you guys for helping me prepare for my radio gig and helping me feel a little more comfortable, maybe not quite so awkward in it, because I did a pretty adequate job. And I credit that to having practice narrating my gameplay while I do things like this, because it's not the easiest thing in the world. Honestly, it's not to to talk while you're playing a game or whatever. It's really can be kind of difficult. But again, you guys have helped me get that practice. And I know as I'm trying to say that, I'm like not making any sense at all, because I'm trying to do multiple things at once here. We're gonna go ahead and layer this with some armor to protect those build and repair systems from getting one-shotted. The nice thing about this build and repair, as always, is they not only give me welding down capacity, they also give a little bit of cargo capacity, which is kind of nice. And let's get probably just a ring of these. I'm thinking to connect that armor plating. I like to, whenever I have the chance, I like to connect armor to armor. And that's just so that if something that's underneath the armor happens to get shot out, I'm not totally out of luck and hosed, and I'm not going to lose a bunch of unnecessary pieces falling off of my ship. Rather a lot of necessary pieces falling off of my ship unnecessarily. I'm already out of steel plate. Man, this small inventory size, I don't regret doing it, but man, I am feeling it. Okay, where was that? Did I accidentally just set that drifting? Nope. It's just drifting free right now, which is a little bit dangerous. Okay, something like that. Suit energy is critically low. Yeah. And place these down. And then this. So yeah, the main reason I'm building this cargo pod and doing it right now is because the next thing we're going to be doing, I'm going to go ahead and charge up before I die. Next thing we're going to be doing is making a run to one of the space stations with some cargo to fulfill some of the cargo contracts I took ages ago and still haven't done. I regret that. If I had to do things again, I would maybe not spend so much time on a sick modded base, which I like and love. But I would maybe not spend quite as much time on it, and more time actually getting to the point where I had a small ship that I could run around and complete contracts with. But that's all in the past. Mistakes are mistakes. Bygones are bygones. One thing that I will say is I recorded 4 episodes. I did a quick little recording session. I recorded 4 episodes of City Skylines the other day, and really enjoyed it. Like, really enjoyed it. It's the most fun I've had recording anything for a long time, including Space Engineers. Feels like like I'm betraying the game to say that or something. But really, it was truly enjoyable. And so I'm going to post those and probably continue that series. Don't worry, I'm not going to give up on the Space Engineer series. I've told you guys that I want to get to a good stopping point, and I view a good stopping point as, when we've completed some contracts and visited all the planets and things like that. So that's my goal there. But then I also want to continue with that City Skylines playthrough. So, and I know that's a little bit different than the stuff I typically do here. Most of you guys are here because you play Space Engineers and because you like Space Engineers and want to see Space Engineers content. So I apologize if you'll be seeing, if the City Skylines just isn't your jam. Like, nobody's making. I appreciate any support you want to give me, but nobody's making you stay and watch content that you don't want to watch. It's a beautiful thing, really, that there truly is kind of a real free market system here on the YouTube for just content, and it truly is a free market. There's no barrier to consuming the kind of content you want to consume. You can just watch what you want to watch, and so people who want to watch City Skylines can stick around, and people who don't can not stick around, and that's totally fine. So yeah, but that's something that'll be coming up. My goal is to make the city kind of. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the game, it's published by Paradox Interactive, which is a fantastic. They make fantastic games. I will just say, I love all the Paradox games. Absolutely love them. Europa Universalis 4, Hearts of Iron, Crusader Kings, Stellaris is a Paradox game. Really good stuff, right? And City Skylines is a super chill city building game, which I really like because, like I say, it's super chill. And sometimes super chill is what I need when I'm, because I'm not on YouTube to like make a career out of it or anything like that. I'm on YouTube because I really enjoy it, and so anything I can do to make my YouTube experience, my YouTubing experience more enjoyable, I tend to like to do. And playing a game like City Skylines is just so relaxing and so fun. It's just a natural thing for me to be making a Let's Play of. Plus, I have some knowledge as far as city planning and things go. That is what I'm studying, actually, is a Master's of Public Administration with an emphasis in local government administration. And so I feel like I'm, maybe not the most qualified person to talk about like city planning techniques and stuff like that, because I'm still kind of an amateur, and that's not totally what I'm focusing on. It's not what I did for undergrad or anything like that. But I do feel a little bit qualified, and so hopefully I can share some interesting insights on how the nuts and bolts of city planning actually work, things like that. Plus, I'm planning on making it a fun playthrough in terms of goals. I want to build all the space launch stuff in the city. So like all the rocket launch sites and everything else like that are my goals to build. And so it's kind of like Space Engineers in that way, right? And like the space elevator and things like that. That's my biggest goal, is to get to the wonder where I can build the space elevator, which I've never done before because it's actually really hard to get there. You have to make your city really big, and sometimes I don't have the patience to make my city that big. The reason for these windows, by the way, I should mention, the reason I put glass up here is so that I can actually see and not cover over the little indicator light there for the merge block. Yeah, I thought that would be a good idea. Then we have lights there. We have lights on top to kind of light that merge block area up. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to, first of all, rename this whole thing. The Vulture cargo pod. And then let's leave here for a second. Okay, so we have Vulture cargo connector front. Let's come around here. I'm going to rename these things so that it's a little bit easier for me to, actually turning off my lights, for me to find the connectors and stuff. Vulture cargo connector rear, and then we have the Vulture cargo connector, whoa, words are hard, bottom. Okay, that's what's critical. I will also go ahead and rename the merge block. Oh, and that's already named merge block cargo pod. Did I already do that? Oh yeah, merge block Vulture cargo pod, so that I can make sure I'm turning off the right merge block and the ones I actually want to be turning off. And then let's call these the batteries Vulture cargo pod. Sorry, I know this is a lot, guys. Gear 1 and 2. Turn auto lock off, actually. Gear Vulture cargo pod. And save that. Okay, that is enough for now. I'm not going to set up the build and repair systems. I'll do that when I go ahead and find something to salvage or grind down or something like that. I will take a quick blueprint. Should this be camo? No, I'm thinking just a plain battered gray is fine. There we go. And take that blueprint of the Vulture cargo pod. There we go. Now I should be able to hook onto it with said Vulture. So let's hop in here. Make sure our gear are up and things like that. Yes, they are. Okay, so if I just sidestep this way, I think it still looks, the changes I've made to it, I still think it looks pretty good with that tail and stuff like that. I'm pretty happy with the profile. And people were saying that it actually looks like a pretty good ship, which makes me pleased, and thank you for those kind words about it. Definitely one of the prettier things I've been able to make in Space Engineers. Helps when you have A, a clear idea of the design you want, B, modded blocks to make things interesting, and what was my C gonna be? C, spend 5 hours on. I spent like 5 hours building this thing, guys, which is crazy. I actually need my merge block Vulture. Actually, real quick, the connector for the Vulture rear, I need to put on... Stop, get off. I need to put on 9 here. And this can be our switch lock. And then toggle it on and off like that. And then I grab my merge block and put that here, and that'll just be toggle on and off. So right now it's off. I turn it on, it is on. And I should be able to just... actually, one other thing that I need to do is this connector for the Vulture. I want your strength basically to be disabled. I never want that connector to like wiggle and lock things in. I want that to be strictly done by the merge block, and then the connectors will line up once the merge blocks are lined up, is the idea here. Looks like we're pretty much in proximity. Coming down, there we go, and we're locked. And now I can go ahead, and here's where I... Oh crap, that doesn't actually work. Oh, so I'm just gonna have to turn it off then, because apparently if you turn down the lock strength, it disables it. Never mind. But there we go. This is now the Vulture as it's meant to be, which is to say with a cargo pod underneath. That's awesome. I'm just gonna say it. That is fantastic, you guys. I am liking this a lot. Oh man, it looks like it looks like it actually makes sense. Like it looks like it's a ship someone would actually make and use for things. You know, this is going to be my cargo pod attachment and for cargo and salvage, and then we'll also have our attachments for like a little tiny mobile base and thing, survival kit and things like that, and maybe a gunnery attachment that's kind of the same shape but just has a bunch of gun turrets plastered all over it. How cool would that be? Anyway, that is fantastic. I'm liking that a lot. But go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here, and then next time we'll go make a cargo run over to the space station where we can complete our RWI pack mule. Interesting. Might go check that out on our way over, actually. But we'll make a cargo run over to the station so that we can actually complete a contract, which we've been meaning and needing to complete for a long time. And then maybe test out some other contracts, like some of the combat or escort contracts, or go up, search and find things contracts. I think those will be some really cool opportunities to get some really cool exploration in here. So let's go ahead and lock, and that looks like it'll lock fine. Yeah, just checking the alignment, and it looks like we're okay. That's exactly how I want to be lined up, exactly how I want things to work. Fantastic. I'm very happy. I will talk to you guys next time. Have a fantastic day, everyone.